Hello and welcome to I Don't Normally Watch That. I'm James Lott Jr. And this episode features a show that now that I've watched it, I will probably watch season two if it comes out season two. It's called Uncoupled, starring Neil Patrick Harris, of all people, and Tisha Campbell and Marcia Gay Harden, who to me, Marcia Gay Harden and Tisha Campbell are national treasures, should be saved at all costs, and should be working all the time. I know Marcia Gay has been working a lot, so get Tisha Campbell working a lot too. And of course, Patrick Harris, we love him, of course. Um, so I ran across this series. Again, I wasn't looking for it. It's on Netflix. It just came out July 29th, and now we're in mid-August. I happened to be watching an interview with David Gregory, who's to be on Why to Live, on The Locker Room. So go check out The Locker Room, which is here on YouTube, and it's Locher, Locker Room. And I saw an interview with my buddy Alan Locker, and David Gregory is a really good interview, like really good interview. He mentioned a show that he's on and talked about Neil Patrick Harris and what a treasure he is and everything. And David Gregory looks good. I was like, okay, I will tune. I literally was like, I will check out to see what it's about on Netflix, because all because of this was so great about interviews and good interviews. And Alan is like me; we do good in-depth interviews, and we move around and spotlight everything. And it was so he was so convincing about this new series, and it's by Darren Star. So I perked up Darren Star. He's in it. I know what he was in it for, but and he just talked it up, and I was like, okay, that's what shows do. You talk it up, and you go, okay, I think I'm gonna check it out, and then you go, you check it out, and that's how these interviews hopefully work, and have their work. So I look it up. It's in the top 10 of like trending on Netflix. There's a lot of things on Netflix. I was like, oh, okay. But I'm watching The Upshaw season two. I'm almost finished with that. I haven't finished that yet, and I love it. But I was like, okay, let me just see an episode of this show. Now I didn't even look to see how many episodes it was, or it was a comedy or drama. I had no idea. I read it. It was like a couple breaks up after 17 years. That hence uncoupling. They're in New York City. It's a Darren Star production. So I decided to watch it. And it's a gay couple. I should make sure I say that. It's a gay couple that breaks up. And it's Neil Patrick Harris who plays one. And the other half is what's his name? Oh my God. Why am I his name all of a sudden? Is oh my God. Why am I blanking on his name? Okay. Here we go. It's the heat, you guys. It's the heat. You're like, James is doing a show and he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Okay, let's see this again. Okay, here we go. Let's get the cast. Okay, let's get the cast. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I'm forgetting the person, I'm forgetting the name. Because he's only on for a few episodes. Tuck Watkins. Tuck Watkins was also One Life to Live, and David Gregory on the Alan Locker show talks about Tuck Watkins and the whole thing. So Tuck Watkins is on four. He's on four. So it's 8 episodes total. He's on four of them. That's why I'm like, I'm not remembering so much. He's on the beginning and then towards the end. But it's so it centers around that. They're a couple. It's Tuck Collins' 50th birthday. He breaks up, and then the rest of the season happens. I don't want to give it away. We decided because it's still new. If you guys want to watch it. Neil Patrick Harris and Tisha Campbell are the bomb. Tisha has her own little storyline too. She's great. This guy Brooks, he plays Stanley. His name is Brooks Ashmansky. I can't. I'm mispronouncing his name. I'm just fucking everybody up. He plays the kind of schlubby guy who's not as hot as the others. Like that always one of those. And he gets interesting, not very interesting story. I mean, it's always the thing about Darren. Let me go back. So the thing about Darren Star, they also have a character played by Emerson Brooks who plays Billy, who's this black guy who's on TV, weather guy who's very sure of himself, very sexually liberated. This is why I usually don't watch shows like this because it becomes like Sex in the City, but gay guys, and it's like this semi-fictionalized, which that's what shows are, but not super realistic. Like why are these two guys friends? They kind of touch upon it somehow in the series a little bit, but it's kind of like they make for good television, on TV. Like in real life, I couldn't see these three guys being friends at all. They have the Jonathans, which is they're really funny. It's very Darren Star. It is very. I mean, it's like Sex and the City meets Younger, meets this, meets that. It's all those things. And at first, I was like rolling my eyes at first. But you know what? I watched all episodes in one night. They're a half hour each, and I ended up liking it. So I have to say, yeah, some problems with it here and there, but for the most part, I like it. Andre DeShields is in it, Tony winner, in it. He has some really great words of wisdom in this movie. Again, Marcia Gay Harden plays Claire, saves the day for me. I just love everything she does. But it shows some realistic stuff, but it's very fictionalized, very fictionalized. Like these guys are in situations that never happen in real life, and it's like they have these amazing places they live and all this kind of stuff. There's an amazing wardrobes. So I mean, watch TV to get away. So I did, like I said, I did caught up in all of that. I did like it a lot. There are people who work on it that I know their names, like Abraham Higginbotham, Ira Madison III, Don Roos. The people that I who wrote for it. I know their names, and they're great writers. There's some funny laugh out loud scenes, but there's some stuff. It's very fictional. But some of the themes that they talk about, you start thinking about it a little bit. I'm an older guy, so I totally get it. And so these guys are either in their late 40s or into their 50s. I'm 53 years old, but I don't have a circle of friends like that. They don't exist. But I do. But some of the things that Michael, who's played by Neil Patrick Harris, has to go through. Some of the things are for real. Some of the things I'm like, that part's true. That part's very interesting. That part's very true. There's just situations where like, okay. There's a running gag in one of the episodes involving Billy the Black Guy that made me laugh. There's a running thing the whole show that I was like, that made me laugh, and it actually was very realistic. But I was like, okay. And there's a thing with the mother of one of the Jonathans that made me laugh too. But it's a cute show, and actually, literally, it ended on a cliffhanger. It ended on several cliffhangers. I want to see what happens next. Yeah. See, there's a show called Looking that was on HBO. I loved that show. That one seemed way more realistic for me. I related to that one much more. It was more realistic. It was set in San Francisco, where I used to live, and it was a whole different thing. This one, I didn't relate to it as much, but it is an older crowd, which I did enjoy that part. And it was they had a diverse cast. We love that. Also, more definitive of New York City completely. And I am now wondering what happens. There's like three or four that are left in the balance, and a major one that's left in the balance. You're like, so I don't know if there's season 2 or not. I have no idea, but they're quick. 8 episodes are quick. I literally watched. I couldn't stop watching it. I watched it the whole night. Then I'm watching a documentary on Puff Daddy. Can't Stop, Won't Stop. That's a good documentary too. So I say if you want a good, I would say gay. If you want something queer themed, yes, but this cast is straight and gay, and Tisha Campbell has some of the funniest lines. I was like, oh my god, and her best friend too. The episode is really funny. So I'm like, so you want something nice and breezy, easy breezy? I say check it out. I totally recommend it. I recommend it. I give it a B plus. I give it a B plus. I think it's totally watchable. Easy, get your mind off of stuff. You will laugh out loud on some of the stuff in there. And so good job by everybody. Neil Patrick Harris again, he's a national treasure also. So I say, James Jr. says, watch it. I'm James Lott Jr. I do these every once in a while. I watch something I wouldn't normally watch, that I'm glad I did watch usually. And once there's a few where I'm like, this one I'm glad I watched. And if you watch it, let me know what you think. Give me your comments, or you watch it after you see this, let me know also. But and Derek Gregory is in it. I'm not gonna tell you much more. He is in it. He's hot in it, the whole thing. And that's it. I'll talk to you next time.